right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you guys. We just had a crazy race. Yes, what a race, what a race. As you see on our bar, Larson wins the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Absolutely insane. Even on the last restart, it looked like Hamlin had it. It looked like he was going to slot in right behind Larson and probably pass him in the next corner. But then Hamlin got boxed in. It just wasn't the strategy call. Hamlin had the best car today and didn't bring home the win. That's how it happens sometimes. I hate to see it. For a guy that definitely had a lot of motivation to go out and win the race today. I gotta adjust my chroma key here. There we go. Let's get right into it. We'll just go ahead and start with our race recap. At the start of the race, we started 1, 2, 3. We had Hamlin, Byron, Larson. Hamlin led them off. Byron held second place. Larson slowly fell back. Blaney moved up into third. Larson back to fourth. Briscoe slowly started to move up from 12th, moved his way up to 9th at one point. Byron was able to get by Hamlin with 8 to go, and Blaney was very fast, closing in on William Byron. So it looked like Blaney had the long run car, had a car that could pass really well. And so Blaney looked like the best car on the track at this point in the race. In stage 2, oh yeah, let's go ahead and look at our stage 1 results. That's right. Let's go here. I'll get these pulled up for you guys. Let's take a look at our stage 1 results. Not that they matter too much today. So here we are. Stage 1, William Byron taking stage 1. Second, Ryan Blaney. Third, Denny Hamlin. Fourth, Austin Cindric, who had a great start to the race. Kyle Larson, 5th. 6th, Carson Hocevar. 7th, Alex Bowman. 8th, Joey Logano. 9th, Chris Buescher. 10th, Chase Briscoe. So that's our top 10. All of our playoff guys in the top 10. Pretty impressive stuff there. Go back into our recap. Stage 2, Blaney led them off after taking 2 tires. That was a pretty big call. Not really sure why they did that. Maybe they were testing it out for late in the race. But Blaney actually ended up holding on pretty well. Didn't fall back too far on this two-tire strategy. On lap 73, John Hunter Nemechek spins, bringing out our first caution. The first of many to come. Denny takes the lead, and under this caution, he's reporting clutch issues. So at this point, we're monitoring that situation. Denny's had several part failures towards the end of this year. So we were, wondering about that again, if that would become an issue. On lap 106, SVG spins and brings out our caution. And during the caution, like let's say 10 seconds after the caution flew, Briscoe had a tire failure. So suddenly Briscoe's day was in question. Lap 145, Kyle Busch has a right rear failure. Does not bring out a caution. He's able to bring it around. And then on lap 149, AJ Allmendinger brings out a caution with a tire failure. Gets into the wall pretty hard. Lap 180, Austin Dillon, tire failure. Did not bring out a caution. And then his brother on lap 183 also has a tire failure and does bring out a caution. Lap 214, Larson has a tire failure. And then 3 laps later, Briscoe has a tire failure. Both happen under green flags. So they're losing laps here. And then on lap 220, saving both of them potentially, Carson Hocevar brings out the caution. Briscoe ends up getting the free pass, and Larson takes the wave around. So that kind of saves their day at this point in the race. So we skipped over the stage 2 results. I didn't write that down. Let's go ahead and check our stage 2 results just to completely tell the story of today's race. Denny in first, Ryan Blaney second, Byron third, Kyle Larson fourth, fifth Christopher Bell, sixth Ross Chastain, seventh Chase Briscoe, eighth Joey Logano, ninth Carson Hocevar, and 10th Chase Elliott. So that was a little before where we just were with their tire failures. That for you guys. So that's a look at our top 10 for stage 2. Blaney having a great day overall. Denny still running up front. Byron running up front. Larson running well. And Briscoe still the 4th fastest, but up there in 7th. So not too bad. Continuing where we left off. Chase Elliott, after this Carson Hocevar caution, Chase Elliott to the lead. Briscoe got the free pass, and Larson took the wave around. So lap 259, Austin Cindric brings out our next caution, backing into the wall pretty hard impact, ending his day. And on this caution period, Elliott was too fast on pit road. So Hamlin having to go to the tail end of the longest line. Hamlin to the lead. And then on lap 279, you know, this was pretty wild. Byron was able to get the lead after that 259 caution. He was able to get the lead, had about a second advantage over Denny. There wasn't much movement there, so it looked like perhaps Denny's race to win. Not Denny, Byron's race to win. We get this caution on lap 279 that stacks the field back up. Under this caution period, Hamlin's able to get the lead on the next restart, runs away with it, actually absolutely blows by Byron, holding the lead. It's his race to win. And then on lap 309, the guy that had been running second, trying to run down Denny, his car was fading. William Byron has a tire failure, his first of the day. So Larson and Briscoe had tire failures twice throughout the race, or 2 big issues. Denny had a tire failure, but it was under caution, so it didn't really affect his day very much. Byron has his tire failure at the very end of the race, and it ends up changing the complexion of the whole day. So coming in down pit road, Denny takes 4, very similar to the truck race where Corey Heim from the lead, or not from the lead, from where he would be leading, I guess, in the championship. Why did that suddenly go blue? Yeah, he just drops a ton of positions. Then he comes down, takes 4. Everyone else takes 2, and 3 guys stay out. It's Keselowski, Preece, and Bowman that are restarting out front. Larson restarted in 5th, and Denny Hamlin restarted in 10th. So just a few rows back, Denny had to make up and pass, 4 cars to get to Larson and get around Larson. On the restart, it looked like he was going to take care of it. It looked like he had made up enough ground, but coming off of the turn, whatever turn it was, he just got blocked in and ran out of time. With 2-3 more laps, Denny, gets by Larson probably. But Denny, throughout the race, had been struggling somewhat in traffic. Not, poorly, but his car definitely wasn't as good further back. So that kind of affected our outcome. Brad Keselowski coming to the line gets beat out by Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney takes our win. So you see that? No, Ryan Blaney race winner over there. Far over there. I can't point. I get cut off. And then Kyle Larson taking our 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship, finishing 3rd. He, honestly made a really close run to the end there. I was wearing my Byron hat. I have a Larson hat, so I went and put it on before our post-race coverage. But just know I was wearing a Byron hat before we went live. Let's go ahead and review our race results here. Ryan Blaney, he may not get the attention, but he did win our race. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney. Brad Keselowski just, once again, missing out on a race win. Those old tires just couldn't hold on against the 2 tires of Ryan Blaney, and Ryan Blaney also had a faster car all day. Kyle Larson 3rd. He was pressing at the end for the race win, and it was honestly really, really close. If he was running these guys right on their doors, there was a chance Larson was going to get turned there. I was really worried about that. Fourth, Joey Logano. He just ran from about 6th to 12th all day. Just a decent day for Logano. Came on strong at the end, but not enough sauce this year. But definitely a good run for the Penske guys, at least the ones that didn't wreck. Fifth, Kyle Busch. Great finish for Kyle Busch. Not going to get a win this year, so this will break his streak. Or I guess the streak is already broken, but he will not continue getting wins. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Good day for Kyle Busch. Sixth, Denny Hamlin coming just short. He definitely had the best car today. Very good on the short runs. Even, decent speed over the medium runs. But once they got to a longer run, he did start to fall off. But I think they made adjustments throughout the day and got better. Hamlin fan, I don't think you have to be that upset about it. Because if you go by full season points, or if you go by the Winston Cup points, Denny Hamlin wasn't the rightful champion anyway. Kyle Larson at least won our full season points. So I think he's more of a legit champion. Now, the argument Hamlin fans have to make is, he was the dominant guy today, but sometimes the dominant guy doesn't win. And again, I wouldn't be frustrated with Kyle. I wouldn't be frustrated with Denny or even Byron for, causing that last caution with the tire failure. I wouldn't be mad at Goodyear. If you're mad about this format, you're mad about who won or why they won, take it up with NASCAR and their format. Yeah, take it up directly with NASCAR because they're considering changing our points format. And a full season points winner would be more honest anyway. It may not come down to a last lap pass. It may not come down to a last, second overtime restart. It may get wrapped up 3 races earlier, but it is the more honest way and the more legitimate way to crown a champion. Especially after Logano won the championship with an average finish of 14th place, there's no defending the NASCAR playoffs. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the thing that, this year we didn't really have a Mickey Mouse winner. Up there, Briscoe, I think he was second in the Winston Cup points. He was close in the full season points, so he was legitimate. Byron led the season points up until this last race, where I think Larson probably jumped him. And then Larson was second and probably won the full season points. So they all would have been legitimate. And Denny Hamlin was our wins leader. So he performed very well this year. Really disappointing to see a guy who deserved it, not take home the trophy. But, that's just how it plays out sometimes. Disappointing. We got to, re-rack them. But yeah, that's our a look at some of the results. Let's keep going through the field. Ryan Preece closing at the very end, decent run. Josh Berry had a good day. Bell, I thought he would show a little bit more promise today. It just wasn't there. Ross had a good short run car. Barely, he just 5 laps max, and then he would start to fall back. Justin Haley, good finish for him. Bowman falling all the way from 3rd down to 15th in just a couple laps. Briscoe 18th, not the finish they wanted. Daniel Suarez 19th, 20th Austin Dillon, 21st Ty Gibbs, SVG 24th, recovering from that early spin. Carson Hocevar 28th, John Hunter Nemechek 31st. We're skipping through here a little bit. JJ Yaley bringing out the caution before the last caution. That really set up Denny Hamlin's run to the lead. And then William Byron, who brought out our last caution, his first and only tire failure of the day, finishing 33rd. Pretty disappointing. And AJ Allmendinger dead last. Bubba Wallace 37th. Just not a great run for those guys. Tons of tire failures throughout the day. I don't really blame Goodyear. They're put in a box. NASCAR requires them to bring a tire that wears in, an insane amount. And so if you want to point the blame at anybody, it's NASCAR and the next gen car. It's not Goodyear's fault. If they'd brought a harder tire that lasted forever, then we would have people complaining again that there was no fall off. So, it's a difficult situation that Goodyear was put in. And it's hard for them to win. Either way, people were upset when the tires wore heavily at Bristol, and then people are irritated when we go to Bristol and there's no tire wear. So Goodyear can't win. Yeah. Well, it's like the Jesse Love Championship. Jesse Love, he may have only had 2 wins this year, and Connor Zilic was much more deserving. Jesse Love doesn't deserve any hate for it. He's just playing by the rules NASCAR establishes, even if we don't like them, even if we don't agree with them. That's what the rules are right now. All right, give me just a moment. We're about to open this up to some calls. Let's try to keep them brief so we can get in a few more people today. If anyone's interested in calling in, it's that number on screen. I'm not quite ready yet. There we go. Let me open up Google Voice. All right, if you guys want to call in and drop some comments on today's race, the championship, the season as a whole, or looking forward to next season, you can call in at that number on screen, 615-671-9343. Let's try to keep these calls to at probably under 3 minutes. That way we can at least wrap this up before like 2 hours. Because I would like to recap a bit of the season too before we shut things down for the year. I'll go ahead and get that pulled up. My own notes on this year. I also want to review the results from this year. Okay, my headset is on. So have you any thoughts about today's race, this weekend's events, this season? Feel free to call in.
Call from.
Welcome, you're live. Oh, I cannot hear you at the moment. I hope you're not talking at the moment.
There we go. I fixed it.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Denny's strategy. If he took 2 tires, or he just stayed out, he had enough tire to go all the way. If he stayed out or took 2 tires, he would have had that. I'm not saying it was anybody's fault. Now, I'm not going to say it's anybody's fault. Nobody else's fault. But I was just so stupid. Like, he didn't need to pit. As I said, he had enough tire and fuel to make it all the way. He didn't need that.
Yeah, I think the thing that really threw off the strategy call to take 4 there was the 3 guys that stayed out, because that kind of shook things up at the front, and like they didn't know guys were going to stay out. But yeah, 2 tires probably would have been enough there to secure Denny the win, but I definitely think he needed to pit because the fall off was like a 1.5 seconds. So it was quite a bit of fall off there. But Heim, he made a 4-tire call in the truck race, just like Denny did here. And he made it work, but the only reason he was able to...
was because of that 6 wide.
Well, that 7 wide, yeah. But, yeah, I get your point. Like, it took a special set of circumstances, and even on that restart, I thought Denny still had a shot. It looked like he was going to get there to Larson's bumper, but the field stacked up in front of him, which was unfortunate. He was definitely the deserving car today, the best car throughout the day. But, sometimes you lose on strategy, you lose on pit road or to things outside of your control, and today was just one of those days. It's just a shame that it happened in the championship race.
Yup. I just hope NASCAR gets rid of these playoffs.
I completely agree.
Like, there is no, like, it causes people that are pretty much talentless. Like, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he won a race earlier this season. He got locked into the playoffs. Or even Zillage, he got locked into the playoffs, got to at least the first race of the second round, and that just shook everything up because he only won a couple races, and those were road course races.
SVG.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. The win and you're in is one of the big problems with the playoffs. But you have any thoughts on the season as a whole?
I mean, it was generally good. I am a little bit biased because I went to a NASCAR race for my first time, but yeah, it was generally good.
That's good. We're going to take a few more calls, but later, after we do a little recap, if you'd like to call back in and share more thoughts, feel free to.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right. Good call there. Always good to hear from Daytona. He is a big Denny Hamlin fan, and I know it's got to be super disappointing for that late race issue there, especially when Denny was the best car pretty much all day. Very disappointing. But he did win several times this year. We know this championship format isn't the most legitimate thing, so I wouldn't hang your head too low. Denny's still showing plenty of signs of brilliance throughout his career, and it may just be poetic that Denny Hamlin, a guy with 60 wins, never gets a championship. But I mean, maybe he makes a run at it next year if we go to a full season points format. So if anyone else would like to call in, it's the number on screen. If you'd like to share thoughts on today's race, today's champion, the points format, whether you like it or not, or if you just want to discuss anything that happened throughout the race. Am I from Tennessee? Negative. Yeah, I thought Bell would be the champion. I thought that was correct. We'll go ahead and take a look at our Winston Cup points. If someone wants to call in, feel free. If not, we will keep looking at our points here. So here we go. So this is a look at our Winston Cup points format. So Bell locking up the championship. Chase Briscoe 127 points back. Kyle Larson 165 points back. And Chase Elliott 211 points back. William Byron in 6th. Denny Hamlin in 7th. So that's how our contenders would have shaken out. So if the guys in the Final Four, Briscoe up there in 2nd. Larson 3rd. Denny Hamlin 7th. Not too bad for those guys. Congrats to Christopher Bell for the Winston Cup championship. Hamlin should have taken 2. Yeah, it's like hindsight's 2020. Friday, I thought Heim was stupid for taking 4, but he made it work somehow. Let's see. Please, just want to have the full season points. Yes. Look at this. What a battle this would have been. So William Byron was in position to easily take this championship until that tire failure. So this is full season points, how we keep points in present day. So we looked at the Winston Cup. This is the full season points with how they're kept nowadays. So no playoffs, no points reset. So Kyle Larson would be our champion if we were in full season points. So this is why I'm not completely upset with Kyle Larson taking the championship over Byron, Briscoe, and Denny, is because, this does show he is somewhat legitimate, running consistently throughout the year. Bell 3rd, Blaney 4th, Denny Hamlin finishing 5th, 6th, Chase Elliott, and 7th, Chase Briscoe. It's interesting the difference between the Winston Cup points and our full season points. What about the old guy, Brad? Yeah, it was so crazy seeing Brad make that move to stay out and almost pulling it off. I was pulling for him. I was very disappointed that Blaney got the win. I like Blaney. I'm fine with him. You know, he's definitely one of the stars in our sport these days, but Keselowski not getting the win, though. Very disappointing. Larson won the championship. See that at the bottom of the screen. Larson winning our 2025 championship. And this is a look at our full season points. He would have won in this format as well. So he had it pretty well locked up throughout the year. Gibbs finishing 15th is the most surprising to me because he had a very bad start to the year. Just horrible. And then he put together some decent runs. Never like race winning other than Bristol. Outside of that, he just had, you know, decent days. Not great. Long offseason had yeah. I mean it's short, but it's not short enough. Yeah, it's interesting the differences between the Winston Cup format and how they keep points these days. You know, they're not awarding points from most laps led or leading laps or leading the most laps. I wish they still rewarded that stuff, but they don't. Larson won the championship. Blaney won the race. Yes, so we have two different winners today. So while we wait, if anybody else would like to call in, feel free. But while we're waiting on that, if you guys want to suggest some moments this year to look at, I know one that I would like to see. I'd like to look at some moments from this season, kind of recap our year. Oops. Let's go to our season recap. That was insane. So live, when this happens, this is Zane Smith's wall ride. This is one of my favorite moments of the year because we're just sitting here covering, you know, the battle at the front of the pack. Bubba Wallace fighting as hard as he can to keep the lead. Christopher Bell on his outside. Briscoe close. We have all these playoff guys in the top 5. And they switched the camera angle. Bam! Zane Smith just riding the wall. Absolutely crazy. Peyton said, hell of a race. I'm a Larson fan, but at one point in the race, I was going for Hamlin, Briscoe, and Byron. Yeah, this Final Four I didn't have an issue with. You know, it's not like we had a Logano in there. You know, a guy that with an average points or an average finish throughout that season of 14th. That's pretty crazy. Let's see if we can actually get the... Okay, here we go. This replay. You got that's Hendrick finally. It's been a couple years since we had Larson and Elliott win one. One thing we should also look at. Go back. Let's look at our champions. So last year, Bell would have been the champion. And Byron would have gotten it in 23. Chase Elliott in 22. And 21 would have been Larson. So we would have had 3 HMS guys back to back to back. And then a gap in 24. And then in 25, Bell would repeat under the Winston Cup rules. So Bell would be a 2-time champion now under the Winston Cup format. This was insanity seeing Zane Smith on his side. But my own video is recommended to me up here, our post-race coverage. Just a reminder, if any of you guys want to call in and discuss today's race, feel free to call that number on screen. You can just leave a short message or we can have a full-on discussion. But we'll try to wrap things up in 3 to 5 minutes to give room for other people to call. So that's a look at today's race. That was one moment from today, or from this year. Looking at Zane Smith riding the wall. Let me look at my notes. See what I have for this year. That's what I want to look at. Let's look at our results for this year. Kind of rewind time. All right, we do have a call, so we'll put that on pause.
Call from
Slugger, Moist.
Welcome to the stream. You're live.
Hello.
How's it going today?
Oh, everything's going all right. I'm very disappointed because of this race, the way it went.
It was such a sudden last-second change. It looked like Denny was going to run away with it, and it didn't go his way.
I spent 4 days with Denny's daddy 2 weeks ago. I went down there, and he's on his last leg, and so I went down there and stayed with him 4 days. And I know this just tore him up to see Logano block him, and then of all people to have a flat tire. I mean, they knew the tires were going, so the only chance Hendricks had was for a caution to come out. So what happens? I mean, you have to wonder whether he got up in that stuff, put his brake on, anything he could do to make a tire go flat. You have no way of knowing those things. It's just so disappointing, you know?
It's extremely disappointing because, I mean, Denny had such a good car on the restarts. It was good throughout the race. And if it stayed green, I mean, he's our champion right now. And
yeah,
with this playoff format being the way it is, you know, it's one little thing can change your season. And even on the restart, I still thought Denny had a shot. It looked like he was going to close it up in on Larson. And then, like you said, Logano getting in his way, the field stacking up.
Logano pulled out, but I think the crew chief made, you know, if he would have had any way of knowing that everybody was going to take two, if he'd have took two also, then we'd have had a different champion, I believe, for that reason. I just get so tired of things happening like that. Then he almost went in and somebody throws a bubble gum wrapper on it and they put it on their hard service and they call a caution, you know. So
he does.
I don't know. Anyway, nice program. I just wanted to call in and give my 2 cents worth.
Thank you so much. It was great to hear from you. And it's definitely disappointing how things turned out for Hamlin. I was kind of hoping he would get this one for his father because
I was so much wanting that. Are y'all in Nashville?
Close.
Yeah, because I was a songwriter, so I used to come there all the time, so I recognize that number.
All right.
All right. Well, take care, brother.
Thank you so much. Good to hear from you today.
You too.
Great call there. Love to hear from you. If you were in a Discord, you'd call in. We do have a Discord, but I don't have it open right now, actually. We do have one more call. Well, let me minimize that. Juggling 20 tabs here.
Call from
Jim.
Jim, you are live.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going today?
All right. I was just going to say, you know, you're talking about the old Winston Cup system. Jeff Gordon, he'd have a lot more championships.
That's right. That's right. He'd have, I think, 7.
How many would he have?
He would have 7 championships. So he would have won in 04. He would have won in 07 by 393 points. Yes, and he would have won in 07, and 2014 would have been his last, his 7th.
Yeah, I thought it was 8.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they had actually kept with the Winston Cup format. I wouldn't have been surprised to see Jeff win 8. But, you know, the formats, they ran differently than they would have in real life. But, yeah, it's a shame we didn't stick with a full season points format. But maybe NASCAR is finally seeing the error of their ways. Maybe next year we'll get what we want.
Yeah, you know, that's the reason Carl Edwards quit.
So the cool thing about the Winston Cup format, in 2011, Carl would have been the champion, so Carl would have gotten one.
Yeah, that's what really made him mad.
Mm-hmm. I completely understand his frustration.
All right, brother. It's good talking to you.
Definitely. Thank you for calling in. Love to hear from you.
All right, buddy.
All right, Ross, if you'd like to call in now, when we have somebody on the line, it may not let somebody else call in. So if you want to take another shot at it, Ross, or anybody else, feel free. And until we get another call, let's go ahead and just review our season results. So the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray, pole sitter was Chase Elliott, and the race winner also Chase Elliott. So a pretty dominant performance there. Our Daytona 500 pole sitter, no one else other than Chase Briscoe, our qualifying king this year. William Byron taking the win. At Atlanta, Ryan Blaney on the pole, great at the plate tracks. But Christopher Bell taking this win at Atlanta. The next week at Texas, he takes another win, 2 in a row. And then at Phoenix in the spring, Christopher Bell, 3 in a row. So great start to the year for Christopher Bell. I mean, it was just insane how well they were running early on. And, you know, Byron was having great runs, but not the race winning pace that Bell was having. He was just finding a way to win race after race. And then after this, Bell kind of falls off throughout the summer until the playoffs really started. So at Vegas, Josh Berry in the Wood Brothers Ford. This was a huge win. I was very happy for Josh Berry. I really like Josh Berry. He's a short track guy. He came up, actually worked his way up into NASCAR. He's not a pay driver. So it was really cool seeing Josh Berry get a win. Edwards said he wished he would explain how he can go hang out with Denny's dad for the week. I'll go hang out with Denny's dad for a week if he's letting people come hang with him. Probably just where he's at. He may be a friend of the family, but if you can't do that, I'm sure there may be a way to send him a card. I know a lot of times when people are in the hospital, cards mean quite a bit if you can't be there in person, and especially if, the worst case scenario happens and they, whoever the loved one is ends up passing away. The family likes having those cards. That way they can look back and see that their family member meant something to a lot of people. So, yeah, I fully encourage you to look into that if you'd like to support Denny's family any way you can. So, yeah, Josh Berry getting that win at Vegas. Really cool. Really cool to see him win that one. And at Miami, Alex Bowman on the pole, but his teammate Kyle Larson takes the win. That's where we're going back next year for our finale, so look for Larson to run well. Chris said, congratulations to Chevrolet. I agree. I'm a big bow tie guy. Cookout 400 at Martinsville. Bell on the pole, but Denny Hamlin taking the win. I believe that's his first win of the season, and he's going to win several more. At Darlington, William Byron was the dominant car. He had a great car, but he fell off towards the end of the race, and Denny Hamlin was there to pick up the win. Really good win. It's always, huge to see somebody win at Darlington because it is such a tough track. And, it's the Lady in Black. It's a historic place to the sport. It means a lot. So cool to see Denny pick up the win there. Food City 500, our spring Bristol race. Alex Bowman once again on the pole. And again, Kyle Larson picking up the win. So it seems like they have a system here. At Talladega in the spring, I was at this race. Pole sitter was Zane Smith. Race winner was Austin Cindric. This locks Austin Cindric into our playoffs. Texas Motor Speedway. Joey Logano takes home his first win of the season. At Kansas, Kyle Larson on the pole, and Kyle Larson gets the win. The All-Star Open at North Wilkesboro, Shane Van Gisbergen was the pole sitter, but Carson Hocevar takes home the win. And in the All-Star race, Brad sat on the pole, Brad Keselowski, and Christopher Bell took home the win. So this is technically his fourth win of the year, but he only has 3 points wins as of this moment. The Coke 600, another race that William Byron absolutely dominated, almost wire to wire. Ross Chastain gets by in the last stage in the closing laps and takes home the win. The Cracker Barrel 400 at Nashville Superspeedway. Ryan Blaney taking home the win. Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan. Denny Hamlin taking home the win. This is one of the first races that we covered doing a race review. It wasn't live, but that may have been the first one, actually. So that was a pretty big race for us. So I'll go back and watch that video after this stream, just to remind myself where we started our NASCAR coverage. And then from Mexico at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, Shane Van Gisbergen starts on the pole, races through the rain into the dry, dominated the whole time, and wins the race. Great run by Shane Van Gisbergen. This locks him in to the playoffs. And then at the Great American Getaway 400 from Pocono, Denny Hamlin on the pole, Chase Briscoe takes the win. Usually they do the opposite. Briscoe will be on pole and Denny takes the win. Quaker State 400 from Echo Park Speedway, Atlanta, one of our great, probably the best plate track we have right now, because it races more like a traditional plate track like Talladega and Daytona used to, actually getting big runs and not just gridlock constantly. That track's aging very well right now. And then from Chicago, the Chicago Street Course, SVG on the pole and taking the race win as well. The next race, also a road course, on the pole and taking the race win. So back-to-back for SVG, further improving his playoff chances. And then from Dover, Chase Elliott on the pole because qualifying was canceled. And the race winner was Denny Hamlin. It's another race we covered. Then from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Chase Briscoe on the pole again. Bubba Wallace taking the win. Iowa, Chase Briscoe again on the pole like Rocket Man Ryan Newman, winning year after year. Or winning the pole week after week, I should say. William Byron, our race winner. Watkins Glen, Ryan Blaney on the pole. So someone was able to unseat SVG, but SVG once again taking home the win. The Cookout 400, Richmond, Ryan Preece on the pole, Austin Dillon getting the win. Austin Dillon just flat out won that race. He was dominant all race. Well, I would say all race, but he was dominant at least towards the end. Definitely the best car at the end. He won it on pace. He didn't just steal this win. He didn't wreck people to do it. This was redemption for Austin Dillon, even if they won't say it. Pole sitter for the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona due to cancel qualifying, Ryan Blaney. And then winning the race from the pole, is crazy to do at Daytona, also Ryan Blaney. At Darlington, Denny Hamlin, the pole sitter, Chase Briscoe gets the win. And then from Worldwide Technology Raceway, or Gateway as we call it, Denny Hamlin, pole sitter and the race winner. Great race for him. Bass Pro Shops night race. AJ Allmendinger taking the pole and Christopher Bell getting our win at the Bristol night race. From New Hampshire, Joey Logano starting on pole and Ryan Blaney taking the win. They had flat track speed here. They ran so well throughout that race. I thought if they made it to Phoenix, they would be a threat. And Blaney was, and he ended up winning. So I guess I was right at the end of the day. I did predict Blaney would win the race. I didn't have to change that. I thought Larson would, I thought Hamlin would win the championship. So I did have to change that on the bottom of our graphic. From Kansas, Chase Briscoe again on the pole. Just time and time again getting these poles. Chase Elliott, race winner. At the Roval, Tyler Reddick on the pole. And then SVG, obviously, getting the win. Just absolutely obliterating the field. At Las Vegas, Denny Hamlin getting the win and locking himself into the Final Four. At Talladega, Michael McDowell on the pole. And Chase Briscoe getting the win, locking himself into the final round. And then at Martinsville last week, William Byron starting on pole, dominating most of the race. He fought with Blaney a little bit, but he did what had to be done, took care of it, and got the win at Martinsville to lock himself in to the final round, where Denny Hamlin would sit on the pole, but Ryan Blaney would take the win and Kyle Larson would take the championship. So that's a look at our whole season. I mean, that's pretty wild stuff. Let's look at what you guys have been saying. Bubblegum rapper. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, that's how it goes. Hamlin will have an issue on pit road. His pit crew will not put enough fuel in the car. There'll be a mechanical failure. There's so many things that took Hamlin out time and time again this season. And this year, it was just a late race caution. I should do a Kahoot on NASCAR. It's not a bad idea, Ross. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Not sure how many people we would have join, but we could try to do that one day. I do want to do a full season in review for all 3 series at some point in the next couple weeks. Let's see if we have another video we'd like to pull up. And again, if anyone wants to call in, it's that number on screen. If not, we'll wrap things up here in just a second. If you guys would like to suggest moments from this year's Cup season, big wrecks, crazy moments, feel free to go ahead and do that. And we'll just watch them here on the screen. Justin shared one. We'll pull this up for you guys. This is a wild one. This one is pretty crazy. So thank you, Justin, for sharing this. This would only happen to Ryan Preece. What a wild season. What a wild year. Congrats to Kyle Larson. Start to wrap things up here. Unless we get another call, we will shake things up. I think probably next, this coming week, I think we'll do another stream. We'll go live and we'll actually do a proper season recap. I'll already have the links pulled up with all the videos that we want to show and all the moments. And we may do 3 separate ones. We might do one for the trucks, for Xfinity, and for the Cup Series. So look for that. We may be watching some old NASCAR races together throughout the off season. So that might be fun. So even though the NASCAR season's done, we're not done here on this channel. And we'll be back next year. We might be back for, like Ross said, maybe one day do a Kahoot. And we'll still be doing the NASCAR video games, different stuff. And but what I was about to say, we might be going to the Rolex 24. I haven't decided on that yet. But if we do, I'll be posting plenty of content from there. Maybe even go live during the race at the racetrack. So maybe look for that. But looking forward to it. We have the Snowball Derby. I could possibly go to that. And we have the Chili Bowl. We have some off-season racing, but the next biggest thing I'm looking forward to is definitely the Rolex 24. It's going to be a long off-season, but thankfully it's a short off-season. So that's one of the best things about NASCAR is they run pretty much year-round. So Larson is our 2025 champion. Ryan Blaney is our race winner. Congrats. I was really rooting for Keselowski there at the end. Heartbroken for Hamlin. It was his race to win, and just a late race restart and not the best strategy call there to take 4 ended up ruining his day. But thank you for the calls that we had. Love hearing from you guys. What a season we've had. I've had a ton of fun calling these races, doing this post-race coverage. It's much better than editing a video and then posting it later. I like having the interaction from you guys. It definitely makes all of this a bit more fun. But, ladies and gentlemen, that I think will just about wrap things up. If we get a last-second call, we'll take another call. But if not, I'll go ahead and start thanking people. Double A, good to have you this whole time. You're here in a bunch of our streams. Ross, nice to see you, man. Chris Davis, Edward, Old Moto, 5 Night, Dr. Derp, Fathom Work, Denny Hamlin fan. I'm so sorry for you, man. I know you're really rooting for Denny. I could feel the excitement through your messages. It's close, but that's why we watch this sport. For the good moments and for the low moments. If it's making you feel something, that means you care about it. So, pretty exciting. Hopefully next year we have full season points, or at least a better points format. That way we're not having these last second heartbreak moments, but, it is what it is. We'll move forward. I'm sure Denny will move forward into the offseason. He'll handle this lawsuit and hopefully make something good out of it. Good to see you, Peyton. Margaret. Margaret was congratulating Larson. John Burke, good to see you as well. Or Burke. Go Roost, good to see you as well. He said Denny should have stayed out, and then an emoji. Is that a laughing emoji? I'm not sure. But yeah, Denny definitely, I mean, it's a case of, you know, hindsight's 2020. The 4 tires, especially with how much the fall off was, might have been a great call if the 3 guys hadn't have stayed out in front, you know, created more of a gap to the front of the field. But also just a ton of guys took 2. And maybe they didn't expect that, but Denny was, on the exit of pit road, so they should have been able to see other guys were taking 2, make a last-second audible. But I thought Corey Heim also made a bad call taking 4 in the truck race, and he ended up winning. So, you know, these things are up in the air, and they're not done till they're done. You know, last-second overtime restart, and we have to stack them up again, Denny may come home the champion. You know, so it's impossible to say what could have happened or what might have happened. Christian, good to see you as well. He says, Kyle Larson, you're the worst person in the world, and you smell like stinky socks. I hope you lose all your fans. That's very passionate. Very passionate. Greg Turberville says, no, they all agreed at the year the rules they went by. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, you got to play by the rules that are established, but I sure hope the rules are different next year. Yeah, a lot of people thinking Denny should have stayed out or took 2. Yeah, I mean, that's the easy thing to say now. But, you know, it's heartbreaking for Hamlin, but Larson definitely was a deserving champion, in my opinion. He was. I'm not just saying that because I have the hat on. I had a Byron hat on before this. I just have a Larson hat, so I put it on for the post-race. But Larson is our full season points champion. So he is legitimate, even if, you know, he wasn't the most successful guy all year or even during this one race. The Hamlin meme keeps going. That's right, Reaper. That's right. James said, way to go, Larson. So we have a lot of Larson fans. We have a lot of people that don't like Larson. A lot of polarizing takes in the comments. Brad nearly prevented Kyle from winning. Yeah, Kyle got held up a bit there. I mean, he had some close calls there. He was running 3 wide on the outside. So any mistake, any bobble from the guys on the inside, and he gets pushed up the track. I think on that second to last restart, maybe it was Hamlin that took Briscoe and Larson 3 wide. He got into Briscoe, which Briscoe got into Larson, and it took both of those guys not out, but it definitely shuffled them back through the field. But then shortly after, Hamlin was able to get by Byron, who had gotten around him. Hamlin clearly had the fastest car towards the end of the race, especially on the short run. Christian Riley, good to see you, man. You were here a ton. Kim, you were the first person in the chat. Good job. She said she knew Kyle Larson would win. She said it twice. She really knew Kyle Larson would win. Well, congratulations, Kim. Yeah, it isn't over until it's over. I thought Briscoe's day was over after his tire failure. It looked bad. The underbody in this car gets damaged. It's over. But turns out he didn't have any underbody damage. And the composite body held together better than the steel body used to back when a tire would blow out. Read your I'm reading old comments. I can't see all the comments at once. To be honest, we should not still be talking about Denny losing. It's I think one of the biggest stories. Yeah, look, Cole, tires are what wins the race. That's right. The in-car on the 43 of that flip is the best. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, we have it. All right, here's an onboard. Not sure who we're riding with here. Oh, that was probably from Chastain. And then this one's maybe Jones. We'll see. We're starting with trucks for your reviews. We might start with Cup, since it's the most, like, viewed, most topical thing. But I see why we might want to... That's not the greatest view there. What a crazy bump, though. Like, I'm not sure who we're on board with here. This might be Jones on board, but this is pretty wild. This little bump, and there he goes. This isn't the right flip. This is a flip from 2 years ago. Here we go. I've already watched this video, apparently. Yeah, I might watch the, yeah, we might do Cup first. I already have that list made. I actually have a full list for all 3 series with, like, race results, things that happened in the race. But I want to highlight the best, not Auto Club, doesn't exist anymore. We talk about a race at in Mexico City. I want to have the clip ready. That way I can just boom, pull it up. We talk about it, we watch it, move on. You know, I don't have to sit here and search for every single one of them. So these are the onboards from the Ryan Preece flip. Oh my goodness, that's on board with Custer. Absolutely murders Christopher Bell there. All right, no clue who we're on board with here. We'll find out soon. Oh man, still wrecking out in front. All right, we're on board with maybe Ty Gibbs. Could be Herbst. Man, still stacking up in front of him. That was, so this is crazy. That's Allgaier in the 40 there, and they ended up with a good finish in the 500. I can't remember where they finished, but it was still pretty good. Michael said, who won the championship in full season points? Yeah, Larson won by, I think, 11 points. Very close. If Byron's tire had held, he would have been the full season champion. And then in Winston Cup, Bell would be a back-to-back champion now. This is on board with Allgaier. You can tell because of the paint scheme. Very noticeable. He came in there pretty hot. Oh, there was Ryan Preece up and over. That's wild. Thought he was clean and gets involved still. But he still made a good finish, so Allgaier made the most of it. The blue and prior to the monster car would have been Cody Ware. That's possible. Golly. Like, look at the closing rate here. Just flies by. I'm sure it was even more extreme further back. All right, here. All right, any other good onboards here? Oh, that's a hard hit there. Preece up the track. Oh my goodness. Just a nasty hit. Move to the outside here. He thought that was the move. Hold the brake. Hold the brake. Hey, he got through clean. Good for him. Chase Elliott on board with Chase. Championship dinner in Vegas this year. It might be in Scottsdale, Arizona. I forget where it is this year. Yeah, Scottsdale. So, I mean, they could go up the road to Vegas, but they're going to Scottsdale this year. It's crazy how small the banquet's gotten. It used to be in New York. New York City, downtown. They would have, Thunder on Broadway or whatever they called it, where they would take the guys that finished up front. That's my video that pulled up. That's me. Oh my goodness. I'm going to keep doing it till we're all doing it. All the way, baby. Is there an interview from the race with Eric Jones' reaction talking about it? Might be able to eventually find one. I think we'll wrap things up here. If anybody else still wants to call in, feel free. I'm not yeeting Double A. This isn't a Jey Uso thing. All the way down, baby. All the way down. Let's go. Into infinity. All right, ladies and gents. That'll probably do it for us. We've recapped about as much as we can. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Everyone in chat, all the lurkers. We had nearly 4,000 people tune in just to this post-race alone. My headset just died. So I think that means we're done. Thank you, guys. It's been a fantastic season. Even though it didn't turn out maybe the way that a lot of us wanted it to, I wouldn't want to watch any other sport. I mean, I definitely enjoy NASCAR. I mean, I enjoy other sports. I enjoy other motorsports, but NASCAR is my favorite. So we're going to be looking forward to next year, going back, I think, to Bowman Gray at the Clash, but to start off the season, looking forward to the Rolex. I always count that as the start of the NASCAR season. But until next time, ladies and gents, we should be alive probably throughout the week. Eventually, we're going to do our season review, a full season review, going back over clips and highlights of our season. Congrats again to Ryan Blaney. I don't think he's gotten enough attention. Most of the attention goes towards Larson. I know a lot of people will be pretty outspoken about his championship win, even though he is the full season points leader. So still deserving, but he definitely wasn't the best car today. But at the end, the whole team, it's a whole team sport. The people that prepare the car have to be on top of it. The people that pit the car have to be on top of it. And the guy calling the strategy has to be on top of it. And Larson had the best strategy there at the end. They came back from having, 2 tire failures? Something like that. So, very, very impressive fight. They end up getting the championship. Yeah, Edwards said racing gives more losses than wins. It builds character. That's right. It's unlike any other sport out there. Where in NFL, if you're rooting for one team, they're playing against one team. It's one-on-one. In this, there's max 40 guys out there potentially each week. 40 guys. And so, if you have one favorite driver, you only have a 1 in 40 chance to win each week. And that's before you factor in whether or not you're rooting for a successful team or not. So, yeah, definitely. 2 weeks, Tony Stewart Rookie of the Year in Top Fuel. That's crazy, Patrick. That's crazy. It's very impressive for Tony to do that. That is insanity. At this point in his career, to be this age and still have the reaction time fast enough and the skills to just switch over to drag racing and be successful. Reminds me a lot of John Force, one of the all-time greats in NHRA. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good to hear from you, Michael, Edward, Patrick, Christian, Double A, Justin, all here at the very end. I'll read Justin's last comment. Really upset we got no Brad win and no JGR chip. I was really rooting for Brad at the end. Sad to see him come up just short, but definitely something to build on for next year. I think RFK's improving steadily, so hopefully they take another step forward next year. As we go through into the offseason, if there's any major news, we'll be here to cover it. And as we do, we may just wait until maybe a Friday or something, go live and do a live show of the news. But if not, maybe we'll do actual uploads. But if I don't see you guys until next season, I hope you guys have a good off season, and I hope to see you here in February when we go live from Bowman Gray for the Daytona 500 NASCAR Super Bowl, the biggest race of the year. Definitely looking forward to it. So hope to see you guys throughout the off season. We'll be here, so hope to see you guys here. If not, see you guys next year.